And so when I talk about construction coordination, that has been talked about, and talked about, and talked about, and talked about. But actually, when we saw this year earlier on the closure of the Gardiner Expressway and the Lakeshore at the same time, without any consideration for the inconveniencing of thousands of people, we saw yet again that coordination's not happening. I'm going to make it happen, and I've said I will chair personally, if necessary, for as long as necessary. I'll do it, but I'll do it for as long as necessary. A coordination committee that will look a year ahead at these things and start to bring some discipline, some sensitivity, and some competence to the management of these things.
Well, but I'm going to be my own traffic czar, because I think you may look up in my platform that I am going to chair, and I assure you the first meeting will be held before mid-December of what I call the Construction Coordination Committee, and I said I, as mayor, will chair it personally for as long as I have to. And I've said, and I don't mean to be critical of the public servants here, but I've said a grade 12 student or a 12-year-old student could do a spreadsheet that would show you where you're closing down all the roads in a given area at the same time and flag that and say we can't do that. And I'm going to show the leadership of being my own traffic czar and chair those meetings for the first period of time, and if necessary for my entire term in office, to say, look, I just want us to be able to look the taxpayers and citizens in the eye and say that only in the event of some sort of an emergency did we close every road in the same area at the same time. It's just inconsiderate or incompetent or some combination of both.
Mentioned, correct me if I'm wrong, you are going to be more involved with, and I don't even know the name of the committee, to be honest, but a committee that sort of oversees traffic flow for events during weekends, right? You know, I'm talking about if there's a march or a run on the Lakeshore on a Sunday where there's a Jays game, or a Saturday where there's a Jays game, or where there's a Jays, Argos, and TFC game, whatever. I'm sorry, Jays, Leafs, TFC game. You're going to be more involved in the nuts and bolts, aren't you, of what gets shut down and how long it stays shut down.
Yeah, and you know what, Jeff, I won't achieve perfection, and the city government won't, but I have the schedule just because you raised it, and it was sitting on my desk. So just so people know, here I am in the mayor's office at my desk, and the schedule's right on my desk, and it's in my hand. So I can tell you that on, the 23rd of May, the Jays are playing, and the FC are playing, but there's also a subway repair plan for that day. So we're now trying to see, is that the right day to be repairing part of the subway, and maybe we can move that. So that's the discussions we're having, and the objective isn't to make it perfect. It's a busy city with a lot going on. The objective is, though, as much as we possibly can, to say, well, maybe if you've got those two sports teams playing that weekend, that isn't the best weekend to have the subway being repaired. Could you do it the weekend before? And the very fact I have the schedule literally in my hand as I'm talking to you because you asked about it is an indication that I'm on top of this, and that I think we'll do better than we've done in previous years.